All right. Welcome back. I hope you were able to figure that one out. We have the answer here. So this was a pretty simple one. It was just a straight join. Active users first, join the reward users on customer ID. So let's run this. Make sure to create the temporary tables. Another thing, if the temporary tables are already created, you'll need to do drop temporary table. If exists, and then the name of the table. And I know a couple people had forgot about this in the last temporary table lecture, but you need to have a semicolon because this is its own command. That's a complete statement. So we need to have that before. It's just good to have that before both. Before you create the temporary table, because if you want to rerun the query, it's going to shoot you an error if you have not done that. So let's paste that in here. Look at it for a second.
Just admire its beauty for a little bit.
Admire it. This is a big deal right here. Got multiple temporary tables, a little join action.
Woo,
okay, so you want to do a Command A and then Command R, and that'll run everything. So that looks pretty good there.
935 rows. Make sure that's the number that you guys. Oh, actually, that's probably including the temporary table stuff. So the last query by itself, how many rows does that result in?
So, I see. 173. So that is definitely right, because if we run the reward users, we get 178, and so that makes sense because it's gonna include all the reward users who are in the active users. So there must be 5 reward users who have not been active, whatever that means in the Sequel world. But it's good to know that the answer gave. It's definitely in the realm of possibility.
Yes, it's smaller than that. If it was a bigger number than that, we'd have issues.
But yeah, so now we can send these guys a little
digital
email.
high five.
Yeah. All right. So the second query was a little bit more complicated. David's gonna walk you through it. I'm gonna tippity type it out over here.
All right. So the second query that we asked for you to give us is give us a list of all reward users, their email address, and if they're active, show a phone number. Else have it be null. And so the first table that we're going to need to work with is our reward users, right? Because we want to get every single person in there, whether or not they're active. We don't care. We want to give every one of them a reward. So we're going to use our reward users. But we also want to get their email address. So we want to make sure every single reward user has tied to it an email address. But we can't use the active table for that, because if we join the active table, then we'll lose out some reward users. So we need to get it another way. And the way we can get it is joining the customer table. Just doing a simple join on that.
All right, join customer C on R dot customer ID equals C dot customer ID.
And in this case, the left join and a regular join is the same, because the customer table has every single reward user in there. So you're not going to be excluding anyone when you just do an inner join or the normal join here. So this will give us the email address, but now we need to show the 4 reward users who are also active users. We want their phone number. So this one we'll need to do a left join on the active customers table.
Boom. A on customer ID.
All right, and so then from there, let's get the column names that we want. So we want the customer ID from the reward table.
Yes.
That will give us all reward customers. And then we want the email address from the customer table. And then we want the phone number for active users.
Phone. I think it's just called phone, right?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, cool.
And I think that's pretty much all we need. Group by.
Yeah, group by one. But yeah, so you see like how by using these joins, like it reads really easily. It's very succinct, and it like makes the queries much easier to read, easier to share, easier to understand. All right, so let's go in here, paste this in here. It should still have the temporary tables. So we run this. That looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So
who's a reward user but inactive?
Yeah. So let's check out.
Ooh,
okay.
These fools over here.
Yeah. So this is how we can. This is the power of the left join. So even though these people were not in the active users table, we still get them in the result because the reward users were being left joined, or active users were being left joined to reward users, so we didn't lose any of the reward users. We just don't have the phone number information, and that's why we get this null result here.
Exactly. So there you have it. Now you know joins and left joins, and this was kind of a silly example, but you'll see in our upcoming lectures as well that these temporary tables and left joins and things like that are things you'll need to use for more complex analyses. And so just sit tight, get comfortable with this, do some more practice on your own, get creative, do whatever you want to do, and then we'll see you next time.
Peace.